Hey y'all, it's Jarenda Leaves and welcome back to my channel. Merry Christmas and welcome to day 12 of 12 Days of Christmas. So for today's video, I initially planned to wrap this series up by sharing what my plant goals would be for next year. But instead, I have swapped that idea out because I've been seeing people going around doing a tag that wildfern created. So I wanted to jump on that wave and answer those 10 questions that Fern posted. I figured that these questions would be a great way to kind of like wrap things up, and then I would just share my plant goals with you in the new year. This will be my last long form video of 2025. I do have a live planned for December 28th, but after that, I will see y'all in the new year. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and get into some of these questions, and y'all are gonna hear my ears shaking and rattling throughout this video, so just lock in with me on that. And with that being said, let's jump in. So question number one is, what is a wish list plant that you acquired this year? So I didn't actually have a wish list until I did those wish list videos, and in fact those are the only wish lists I've ever had. But I guess a plant that I acquired that I really like, if you asked me like at the start of the year, or if you asked me at any point before getting the plant, if I would have the plant, I likely would have told you no. I will probably not have that plant, and it's an Anthurium Carla Blackiae. So I recently actually posted a video of all of my Carla hybrids. I think having not one but two Carlas was really like not in the cards for me. At least I didn't think it was. So that's definitely a wishlist plant for me. I did not acquire any wishlist Hoyas because they are significantly out of my price range in terms of the ones that I would have been like, my gosh, beyond me. And then I think also because I blacked out and bought a lot of Hoyas, the ones that I would have been like, I really want to have, I do have. And I didn't create like the wish list that I did create at the end is like ones that I looked through. I went, thought about it, looked through Hoyas, etc. to create that wish list. But there weren't Hoyas before that period that I was like, oh my God, I need to have, because I kind of have them, had them already. That said, I think the Carla Blackiae is definitely one that I was like, oh my God, I would not own. And the fact that I have one in my grow cabinet that is doing well is taking me out. But yeah, let's move on to question two. So question two is, what genus do you want to get into this year? I think one, I want to say, I don't know if there's like one genus, but I do want to name that I want to really continue honing my Hoya and Anthurium skills in 2026. I think I want to wrap the year knowing what my specific plant care routine is when it comes to those two genuses or genera, because I actually really love the two of them pretty equally. I love Hoyas really bad. I love seeing new growth. I literally audibly gasped the other day at looking at growth of one of my Hoyas, and I do the same thing when it comes to my Anthurium, and there aren't other plants in my collection that make me audibly gasp when they're growing. So aside from like my my Ripsalis paradoxa, because that thing be growing at random. Every once in a blue you see a new link, so you will gasp when you're like, is that a new, But anyway, not the point. So I do want to continue there, but I guess not a genus, but an area of plants that I want to get into in 2026, something new horizons wise, is definitely carnivorous plants. So I have mentioned specifically wanting to create different like carnivorous like bogs, etc. I am hoping that for the summer I get to do something fun like that with my son. Like I want to get into that. So I want to get into carnivorous plants, and then I want to hone my edible growing skills a little bit more and take better care to plant things in my raised beds that I actually want and that I actually utilize. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I want to get into carnivorous plants, I want to get into edible growing, and I want to refine my Hoya and Anthurium skills. Okay, so number three is, what is your plant care routine? So before I answer this, I will just name, a lot of what I'm saying is going to be a little bit repetitive for a video that I made that was like all the things you need to actually grow plants or something, like I can't remember what I named it, but this video where I basically talk about all the like plant supplies that I actually utilize, which in it kind of like essentially runs through my routine, because of the plant supplies that I utilize are based on my routine, but I'll just like lay it all out here. So I know that I often say this, I know people say do not water on a schedule, blah, blah, blah. I don't water on a schedule. And I don't know if it's necessarily a watering schedule because I'm not watering on my plants on the same day all the time, but I do have check-in days. My midweek check-in Wednesdays, I'm always going to check in on the plants that need a lot of water. The ones that they don't, you know what I'm saying, drying out is not for them, which means basically Wednesdays, not the alarm going off and ruining the vibe, but what I was saying is Wednesdays are basically my anthurium check-in days. So on that day, I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna look at my cabinets, I'm gonna look at my ambient anthurium, I'm gonna make sure everybody's straight, okay? So I'm gonna check in on the girls that are thirsty on Wednesdays. On Saturday or Sunday, depending on how I feel when I wake up on Saturday, I'll do a Saturday. If not, then I do a Sunday. I'm going to check in on the entire collection in the attic. That's when I know I'm really locking in. I've refilled the 5-gallon bucket. I've mixed the freaking nutrients together. I'm about to get to it. You know, they're going to get watered. If I see anything suspicious, I'm going to spray everything down. That's kind of when we're doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? We're mixing substrate. We're doing what we got to do. I lock in on either Saturday or Sunday. Depending on what the plans for the day are, I could either do it in the morning, or, you know, I got kids, so maybe sometimes it's not in the morning, it'll be in the night. But one of those days, I know that I need approximately, this might sound like a drag, but I have a lot of plants, but I need at least about 90 minutes to water all of my plants thoroughly. And then I likely need another hour or so if I'm gonna do anything extra. But for the most part, I enjoy that. So that's kind of like time that I look forward to, and I block that time off. That's just kind of like going through watering, check-ins, etc. I think that I don't view plant care as like a chore, as like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to do it. So I'm excited about my plants. So I am also looking at them every day. The plants in my cabinet, I'm seeing them so often that even when we get to the point where I'm like, it's Wednesday, let me just make sure, I've probably already made sure because I'm staring at them all the time. In my office, I work in my office. So I see those plants regularly. And often I will literally just like, okay, I'm in here, and if something looks a little bit off or like it needs something, I just give it to it at that moment. I do also literally exist in this space a lot. So I will find myself like on a phone call, I'll just come and be walking around, and like if I'm on the phone with somebody, I'm chirping, you know, chit-chatting with the homies. I am going to walk around and look. That might be the moment that I'm like, oh, let me crack the prop bin and see what's happening in there. And then I'll be like, oh, I need to pull the pump sprayer out and just like spray everything at the top a little bit, give it a little something. You get what I mean? But I do also want to name that I do enjoy my plant care. So I incorporate going and being amongst my plants and looking at them and soaking them up into multiple parts of my day. If I'm stressed out, just take a lap through, you know, and I look at them and I find something to do because it makes me relaxed, and I enjoy doing it. So that's just like a little bit about my routine. I feel like in the video, Fern was like, oh, you know, like, do you listen to music, etc.? It depends. So I could be on the phone when I decide to do my plant care routine, and then I just like water my plants while I'm chipper-tappering. If I'm not chipper-tappering, I typically don't necessarily put on music. I might put on like a podcast or an episode of something that I'm listening to or watching. I might put on a YouTube video, but I set it up either on my computer so it's nice and like loud but not too loud, you know, and then I water. I haven't done music, but that's because I'm listening to the rap girls, and when you're trying to be calm, that's not calm music, you know. Most of the music I listen to, I don't think is really calm. Maybe I need to start listening to some calm music. I need to pull back out like the chill vibe, you know, but that's not where I'm at. Most of the time I listen to music to get me hype. So I feel like because of that, I'm not listening to music while I'm watering my plants because I'm trying to chill when I'm watering my plants and like taking care of them. Also, I think because of my YouTube channel, I stay on top of a lot of different like chores or things that probably I could listen to like hype music during. So I don't really listen to music when I do my plant chores. I listen to music when I clean though, but anywho, that's neither here nor there. The next question is, what is a plant success that you've had in 2025? So I have had multiple successes. The first success I have, you could literally see her. Oh my God. Bro, why am I so bad at this? Why am I so bad at this? This hybrid right here. This one right here, let me tell you, my forgetty eye that I got as a forgetty eye that everyone was like, it's not a forgetty eye, and it's a forgetty eye hybrid. That is my biggest plant success, I think, this year, because I literally got into anthurium I think I bought that plant at the end of, it was in summer, so either middle to end of July. And the fact that now in December, not even a full 6 months later, I went from having like leaves about the size of my hand to leaves larger than the size of my head. I have learned so much. I have grown so much. It hasn't been like a plant that it just did well. I was struggling. I was like, what is this yellowing halo? What is going on? And right now you're seeing the plant does not look crusty. It is getting a couple of little like yellow dot marks, but not quite as bad as what it looked like the first few leaves. And I think I've gotten the hang of like keeping it more consistently moist and finding my own way when it comes to plants. So that's why that's one of my biggest successes, because I think I got a lot of advice on that plant, and a lot of the advice was conflicting. Some people are saying maybe let it dry all the way out. Some people are saying keep it consistently moist. I'm noticing that the more I let it go through cycles of dry, it's getting more marks. And then I'm also realizing that the plant clearly likes moisture, but it needs aeration. I am being told the pot that I put it in is too big, but then the next leaf that I get is this leaf. I don't know. So I feel like I really honed in on how to care for anthurium, or some anthurium, when it came to taking care of this hybrid in particular. And that gave me the confidence that I needed to take care of my mag no ID, which is also doing really well, and also so many of the other anthurium. And I think this journey with that plant in particular has just been so profound. Like I had to try different things. I was always like trying to figure something out. Okay, do I let it dry out? Okay, do I put it in a reservoir? Okay, do I up pot it? Do I not? And I learned so much with that plant. Another one that I want to say is a plant success is this Monstera adansonii that I'm gonna put the picture in of here. This plant, listen to me, y'all. I struggled so bad with this plant. When I first got it, it's an adansonii double windows. I got it and I initially thought it's going to be a trailer because they sent me the plant. I got it from Gabriella Plants. Actually, I got this in my first order from them ever. The plant literally was like this long, vine about this long. So I'm thinking maybe I can grow it as a trailer. The more it trails, it was throwing out runners. It was throwing out the tiniest leaves you've ever seen. I was always chopping. So I said, okay, I have no choice. I'm going to have to put this plant on a pole because it was not doing what I was seeing other people's adansonii doing when they let it hang. As a last ditch effort, because I initially chopped it. I think I even did a video where I chopped it up and I had props of it, and then I potted up the props, etc. with the plant. I think I even have a video of that. If I have one, I'll link it in the description. And then I put it on a pole as a last ditch effort. Like if you don't want to get your life together, if this don't help you out. And that plant literally attached to the pole, and each leaf has been reasonably sizing up, doing well, doing phenomenally. I literally cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. I'm finally getting adansonii sized leaves. And I think that this plant for me is a success because it also taught me that I'm actually not horrible when it comes to moss poles. All right, we're gonna take a quick break and then charge the mic, and then we're gonna come back to talk about my 2 other successes. All right, y'all, I'm back. I am going to do my best to try to beat the clock because I charged up my microphone battery for a little bit, but I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know what's going on with it. But anywho, the other 2 plant success stories are my Hoya Gunungaring. Let me actually move back over. I'll put it here. So this plant, I literally struggled with rooting it. It was literally at the point where it didn't root in perlite. It was just like, I initially got it and I took it out of the moss, transferred it over to a mix. It was like, hell no. And then I decided, okay, I'm gonna have to restart the roots in perlite. Didn't root, refused to root, was wilting. I lost leaves. And then finally, as a last ditch effort, I had 1 leaf left at a stem and I just planted it up into a regular mix, like a cocoa mix, and it finally rooted, and then it gave me another leaf, and right now it's working on 2 more leaves, as you can see in the picture here. I am so proud of this plant. That is such a success because I really thought I was going to get rid of it, and it has inspired hope for the plant that I'll talk about that I want as a wishlist plant at the end of this, but I'm just excited about that one. And then the same story essentially applies for the Hoya Arena that I got from Plant Haven. While it doesn't look its best, I literally thought that it was not going to make it. And it went from being soft, near like on the brink of unaliving, to now growing. And I love that for me. Okay, so question number 5 is, what plant failures have you had this year, or what plant failure did you have this year? I have had so many plant failures. So I'm just going to talk about a few of them. I think the wildest ones I've had definitely have to do with pothoses. So I had a golden pothos and a marble queen. Both of those are gone. My golden pothos, I feel way more strongly about that one than the marble queen. The marble queen, I don't know. As a hanging plant, it wasn't really doing like for me what the other pothoses were doing. I felt like it needed something that I wasn't giving it. I don't know if it was I don't know what it was, but it just was not thriving in the same way that my golden pothos was thriving. My biggest fail is I initially got a golden pothos as one plant from Home Depot. I separated it. They were growing as 2 separate plants hanging around my window. I don't know, I decided I wanted to plant them back up together, put them into the same pot together, and then everything just wilted and died. I could not believe it. It was like heartbreaking. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna take propagations of it and try to start it over. But then I just did not have the commitment to watch a plant that was almost reaching the ground start all the way over. And I was getting into so many different plants, but that was one of the big failures. Then my Stromanthe Triostar, huge failure. I talked about that. Spider mites took it down, and it took me so long to realize that it was spider mites. And then at that point, I was so afraid that instead of like trying to treat it, I chopped everything off and then eventually threw out the pot and just like gave up on it. But that was a failure for me. My Hoya australis, I never figured out what was wrong with it. It just kept dropping leaves. I actually ended up getting rid of the base of the plant. I do have some propagations. I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to keep one of the props. Not really sure at this moment. It depends on how they continue to grow, but I couldn't figure it out. Like, it was yellowing, everything was fine. It was yellowing and growing all at the same time. I never saw any pests. And for me, in my head, I don't think that flat mites would just cause like the leaves to just be dropping like that with no scarring, no other telltale signs of there being flat mites, just leaves yellowing, but maybe, who knows? Then I had a begonia, Little Miss Sherry. That was a real L. I loved that little cute plant, but I couldn't figure it out. Like, the watering, I just couldn't get it right. It was always dropping leaves, but growing, but dropping leaves, but growing. And then eventually one day I had to just let her go from my life. And then finally, one that I still have is my Anthurium papillolaminum crossed with luxurians. That plant is now a stump. It's a seedling. So I don't even know if it's going to make it, but I have it in a humidity dome, and I'm just going to see if it does something, if it activates the 1 or 2 auxiliary buds that it probably has. One can't be sure, but right now the plant is literally a stump. It's the only stump I have, which is why I know what it is, but it's a stump, and that is so unfortunate. Huge failure. I got that plant in the start of my Anthurium journey, and honestly, if most of the other Anthuriums had went the way this one went, it would have been a strong no for me on the Anthurium, but that's the only one that I have had like major struggles with thus far. The next question that Fern had posed is like, what do you think are going to be the plant trends for 2026? Okay, I couldn't just come up with one, so I separated it because I feel like there are going to be trends that I think for Anthurium that might maintain, trends for Hoya, and then like overall trends. So for Anthurium, I'm pretty sure we're going to just continue to see dark leaves be the trending plant. I think right now I'm seeing a lot of like BVEP. I'm seeing like a lot of BVEP hybrids. I think they're going to continue on. I think the Carla wave might not end, but I do think that Carlas are going to become significantly cheaper in the next year. Obviously, plant prices are going down, but I do think they're going to be significantly cheaper, and Carla hybrids are going to be significantly more readily available because more people that had access to Carlas at the start and then access when it became like more affordable and in reach are going to have Carlas that are in like flowering age that they can like keep hybridizing with. And because of how quickly you can hybridize with Carlas, because of their, I don't know, I don't want to say gestation, but because of that period is really short, it's like 2 months. So because of that, I feel like there are going to be a lot of Carla hybrids. I also think because people like dark plants, you're going to see a lot of BVEP hybrids as well. And I think that the red crystal is still going to be out there, like a dock block insert this thing here, or any like red crystal plants are still going to be all the rage. Because they're also dark at the end. They still do come out dark. They just have that red coloring to them. And I think that that's going to maintain. Also, I think that the variegation train for Anthurium is really going to get it right now. It's not as full, it's going to get packed. People are going to be fiended out for variegated Anthurium. People are not me, but that's what I see maybe for 2026 in the Anthurium world. In the Hoya world, I feel like return to the silver and then also an influx of cream variegated plants. Just random cream variegated plants are going to start coming in the woodworks. Like that outer variegated inner, all of the plants that you think might have been all the rage this year that are not variegated are going to come out with extreme splash and then cream variegation. I think that that's the same thing that they do, like that happens with Hoyas in general. But in my head, I'm seeing like a remix of like some of the crusty Hoyas having like increased splashing, etc. Kind of like what you're seeing like with the Tautensis, with that looks like a caudata, but it's just extremely splashy. More of that, like just more of that. And then I do think that more people are going to get heavy into Hoyas again. Obviously, everybody and their mom is not posting Hoya content, but I think secretly more people are going to start acquiring different Hoyas because I do think that they're going to release a lot of different Hoyas this year, and there are so many of them. I think if you're a person that's just on PlantTube in general, you're going to see a lot of downsizing from the OG creators, but like on steroids. Like people are going to be dropping their collections below 100. You're going to see, I mean, like who cares about what number you have, but they're going to be downsizing their collections drastically is what I mean. Because I'm talking about people that have like 300-400 plants. You're also going to see a lot of, I think, new people coming in because I think kind of like with the pandemic where there was an influx of new people getting into plants, during times of strife, stress, and huge change, people do seek something to hold on to. And 2025 has been a year of that. So I think next year, there are going to be a lot more people on the wave as a result of the wild times that we are experiencing in this year, 2025. So I'm expecting to see a lot more new people in the plant hobby across the board. So yeah, those are the trends that I have. Who knows if I'm right? Please let me know also what y'all think the trends are in the comments as well. Like, what do y'all think is going to happen in 2026? Oh, another trend that I think is going to happen actually has to do with grow lights. I think we're going to see a lot of like modular grow lights, like the ones like instead of it just being like a standing grow light, you're going to be able to stack them up kind of like what Mother's doing. And then you're going to see a lot more grow light companies trying to make things aesthetic. So there are going to be a lot of cheaper alternatives to like Soltech lights basically. So the Soltech aspect, you're going to see different like options, right, for having like a hanging pendant light that are affordable. You're going to see affordable options for standing lights. Marina kind of did that with the T10 standing vertical, and I love that light. You are going to see a lot of grow light companies that are, I guess, on it are going to try to make things a lot more aesthetically pleasing. And I think that's another trend is that people are going to be trying to get their collection to fit into, you're going to see a lot more plant styling in 2026 from people who are already in the hobby. And I will admit that that's something that you probably can look forward to seeing from me is like restyling how your plants look. Because in my mind, at the end of 2025, my background itself, the furniture will still be here, but the arrangements and all the different are going to be, different. Anywho, going ahead and moving on to the next question. The next question is, what is the most difficult season of plant care for you? I honestly think it's this season, winter. I said in my winter prep video that when seasonal affective disorder come for you, hopefully you got things set up right. And honestly and truly, life's. And I think that during the holiday season, like not me getting serious, it brings up like a lot of emotions for people too, like for myself and my own household. And then just in general, but then also there's no light. It's literally so dark outside. I am filming this before going to get my kids from school and it is so dark right now. So like a day where it's rainy combined with the fact that the sun is setting at 4:00, babe, I am not okay. So as a result of that, this season is the most mentally taxing for me because I'm fighting against like the emotional desire to just want to bed rot and be sad. But also it's Christmas and I need to be up. I'm feeling the spirit. I want to, have my kids have fun, etc. So much to do just being a person in this season that for me, plant care has been difficult. And then also I am finding this winter, because this winter I've never had this many plants in a winter. Last winter I did not have nearly as many plants. Well, I guess no, I didn't have nearly as many plants last winter. I acquired way more in like the springtime. And I think I realized that I thought that plants were going to dry out less, but the heat is taking me down. Like I am watering plants at the same frequency, if not a little bit more right now. And that is taking me out of my element because it's so much more dry in here compared to the summer when it was raining a lot. We had a very, very wet spring and summer and fall. And then we're not having that right now. Winter is, not only is it raining less, but I got my heat on. It's just, oh my God. So this season is tough emotionally. And then also literally, I feel like I have more plant stuff to do. And because of like the combination of like the emotional, it's just a little, sometimes it just be a little bit hectic. And the timing, like when you want to do all the Christmas stuff, you don't have the same kind of time. It's also a busy time. Like we just hit the lull for me at work too. So man, this season, I think for me, I love spring, summer the most. Fall is neither here nor there, but spring, summer, I think is actually my favorite. Summer is hot, but it was not as bad for me in summer as I feel like it is now. And I also want to name, it's getting more difficult because of where I'm at, but it's not difficult overall. Like I'm not burnt out, but that's neither here nor there. The next question was about pest struggles. I have only ever really had spider mites and fungus gnats. And I am a systemic girl, systemic me down. And then I'm very big on that preventative spray. I will also be doing that on that live that I'm doing, is I'll be spraying down all of the plants in this little region too, to close out the live, or like as I water, whatever it is. I'm going to spray them all down because going into the new year, leaves will be clean, vibes will be set, systemics will be systemicing, and that just is what it is. So I've only really ever had fungus gnats as like the worst, most annoying pest, because I think they're the most annoying because they're a pest to me. I feel like they're not really a pest to my plants, they're a pest to me. So there's that. And then spider mites, but I haven't had like spider mites like to the point where I'm seeing like so many, like I've never had like a full-blown infestation. I've like noticed them on a plant, and typically spider mites I feel like are so easy to knock out and be consistent about. Just literally spray down the plant and all the plants in the same vicinity and you'll be straight. Honestly and truly is what I've noticed. That is the only pest I've ever struggled with. And I do think that a spino spray in conjunction with like regular spray downs with like a neem, alcohol, etc., knock them right out. And yeah, that's really that. Okay, the next question is, what is your top wish list plant? I had to do 3 categories because I cannot just name one. It doesn't work like that, y'all. It does not work like that. Okay, so for Hoyas, I want that Gunning Ghost. That is my number 1 wish list Hoya right now. I have looked at pictures of it multiple times multiple times in a week, probably even I've definitely looked at it once a day since I put that wish list together. I think it's so pretty. Will not be buying it. That price is wild right now. But number 1 wish list plant. Number 1 wish list plant. For Anthurium, I think my number 1, and me being reasonable, but also thinking about like what I actually desire, my number 1 wish list Anthurium is a BVEP. I really, really want a BVEP. Also, in a perfect world, would acquire a dress bride, but like not too much. Let's see. Not too much, but one could hope. Not too much though. But those would be like, oh my gosh, please. And then finally, I think something that I really hope I acquire is I want a pingdom. I want to have a nice, like round, cute glass vessel, clear vessel that has like the layer of sand. And I want to like put like some cute rocks that I collect from like a walk somewhere and a bunch of pings and have my little distilled. Oh, I just want a pingdom so bad with a bunch of pings. And I preferably would have 2, so I could have 1 here and 1 in my office. But I would love at least 1 pingdom, which would require multiple pings. But that is definitely a wish list item of mine, at the top of the carnivorous wish list items. And then the final question was, what is your favorite plant of 2025? I really had to sit hard and think about this. And I feel like, again, I found myself in a space where I'm like, how can I only say 1 thing? So I have to say 3 because I had to break it up between my 2 favorite genera, and then 1 that I feel like, honestly, every time I come back to it, I'm like in love again. So 1, I'll start off. I'm gonna just show them here. I'll start off with one, my begonia listata. Love her down. Love her down. Love her down. I think of my begonias, she is my favorite begonia currently, and probably will be long term because her growth is compact. Her growth is beautiful. And while all of my begonias, I love them, they're beautiful showstoppers. She's the one that causes me the least stress when I look at her as well, because she's not growing so out of control. I'm not having to figure out how to tame her, and I love that. And then also, I really am into dark foliage. So I love her foliage. It's so interesting. It's so unique. Love this plant. The next one that I have is my Hoya Noel. Y'all already, if y'all know me, y'all know that it was either going to be the Hoya Arena AH015 or the Noel. But I love the Noel, and I have to just be me. I have to be real. Love this plant. I'm so grateful that I have it. I'm so grateful that it's growing, and I love it. I'm glad that I got it. I feel like for me, it's a sensational Hoya. And if I had to start my collection over again, I know for a fact that I would buy a Noel. And then finally, I think this really is actually my favorite plant of this year. And we've talked about it too many times on this channel recently, but it is my Forgetii hybrid. This plant has just been such a showstopper for me. I mean, not that y'all could have seen the leaf already and I still put a picture of the leaf here, but it has really just been a showstopper, and it really taught me how to like explore new horizons. And I feel like it kind of changed my perspective on plant care from going from being like, okay, I only have to believe what people are telling me, to also like exploring new things, and now like loving Anthurium so much. So this has definitely been my favorite plant. It has been the one whose growth has like impressed me, and then also affirmed for me that I could be a sensational plant parent, right? Period. All right, y'all. With that being said, I really appreciate you all for sticking with me for these 12 days. I hope that you have a fantastic Christmas. If you are watching this on Christmas Day, I hope that you got all that you wanted, or you gave your babies all that you wanted, or you whatever, you know. I hope the day is going how you wanted it to go. For me, I will be making apple cider donuts with apple cider that I made myself. Hello? Yeah, get like that. I will be enjoying myself and watching my babies play with all the toys that me, their daddy, and the rest of my family have bought for them. So I'm very excited. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And if you're watching this new year, I hope your new year is going to be great. Okay? All right. I'll see y'all in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.